Dr. Alex Ray was not a normal scientist. He didn't wear suits or speak in long, difficult words like the others on TV. He wore a leather jacket over his lab coat, rode an old motorcycle, and always carried a small notebook with him, full of strange symbols and sketches of the stars. Most people in the science community thought he was a joke. Alien Hunter, they called him, the crazy guy from Harvard. News channels made fun of him, and talk shows laughed at his theories. But Alex didn't care. For 10 years, he had studied one thing, the possibility that aliens were already watching Earth, not from far away, but from inside the planet. He had no proof. Not yet, but he had something better. A feeling. The warning no one heard. It was a cold night in December. Alex was alone in his small lab in Alaska. Snow covered the windows. The room was quiet, except for the soft hum of his old radio telescope. Suddenly, the screen in front of him flashed red. Incoming signal DTs. Alex leaned forward. The signal wasn't random noise. It had a pattern. Could it be? He whispered. He started decoding. The frequency was strange, lower than anything natural. The pulse was slow, but steady. Then it repeated. 3 short tones, 2 long ones, 3 short again. Alex's eyes widened. It's Morse code, he said. They're speaking in Morse code. He typed quickly. The message was short. Just one word. Alex's hands shook. This wasn't from a satellite. It wasn't from Earth. The signal came from space. But not deep space. It came from within Earth's orbit. Something was already here. The laughing world. The next morning, Alex called a press conference. Reporters laughed as they walked in, expecting another crazy alien story. Alex stood in front of them, holding a USB drive. I have proof, he said. Last night, something sent us a message. A real, structured signal. This is no longer science fiction. A reporter raised his hand. You expect us to believe aliens sent you a text message? Laughter echoed in the room. Alex stayed calm. Not just a message, coordinates. I believe something is buried under the ice in northern Greenland. The room went quiet for a second. Then more laughter. Did they send a selfie too? One man joked. Alex walked off the stage. No one believed him, but 2 men followed him outside. They wore black coats, no names. No questions. Dr. Ray, one of them said, you're not wrong. Come with us. The hidden team. Alex was flown in a black helicopter to a remote Arctic base. Inside, a secret group of scientists and soldiers waited. They called themselves Division 9, a shadow group that studied unexplainable phenomena. The leader, Colonel Rourke, was a tall man with silver hair and cold eyes. We've been tracking similar signals, Rourke said. Until now, they were just static. But your signal, it gave us a location. Alex was shown satellite images. The coordinates pointed to a thick sheet of ice in the north, a place untouched for thousands of years. It's below the ice, Rourke said. We're going in. The frozen discovery. A week later, Alex stood near a massive hole dug into the ice. The temperature was below -30 degrees Celsius, but his heart was racing. Soldiers and machines worked around the clock, cutting deeper and deeper. On the 4th day, they hit something. Not rock. Not metal, but a shell, smooth, black and shaped like a tear. It was about 20 feet long, buried in ice that dated back over 10,000 years. Rourke called for a full lockdown. Alex got the first look inside the shell. What he saw made his blood freeze. There was a body, tall, thin, and pale. Its skin had a blue glow. No mouth. Just dark eyes and strange, raised patterns across its body. It looked peaceful, like it was sleeping. Is it dead? Alex asked. No idea, Rourke replied. The pulse that night. As the shell was moved into the base, alarms went off. The body inside the pod began to glow. Then, its chest moved, one breath, then another. It's alive, a medic whispered. The alien slowly opened its eyes. It didn't move. It didn't speak. Alex stepped forward, drawn by something he couldn't explain. He touched the pod. Suddenly, his mind was filled with images. Cities burning, people screaming, giant ships in the sky. An alien planet covered in black storms. Loud sound like thunder in space. Then a voice in his head. You are not safe. Alex pulled back, gasping. The alien closed its eyes again. Rourke stared at him. What did you see? Not an invader, Alex said. A warning. Media stormed back on Earth. Someone leaked a photo of the alien pod. It spread online in minutes. News anchors changed their tone. The same people who once laughed now begged for answers. Governments denied everything, but people weren't stupid. They saw the fear in official voices. In 1 week, everything changed. People stayed indoors. Some started panicking. Others formed strange online cults, worshipping the alien. Alex was now the most wanted man on Earth, both as a source of truth and a threat to order. But the real danger was still sleeping in the pod. Or so they thought. The first death on the 8th night, something happened. A soldier guarding the alien pod began acting strange. He stared at the wall, mumbling to himself. Then he screamed, his body twisted in unnatural ways. His skin turned gray, and then he died. No wounds. No sign of illness. Autopsy showed something missing inside him. His brain was gone, like it had been erased. Alex checked the camera footage. For 3 seconds, the alien had opened its eyes. Just once, and in those 3 seconds, something left the pod. Invisible. Silent. Deadly. The final warning. Alex wrote everything down. He recorded a message and uploaded it to a private server. This is Dr. Alex Ray. If you're hearing this, then the truth is out. They are not coming. They are already here. And they are not what we thought. As the video uploaded, the power flickered. The base shook. And deep in the darkness of the medical wing, the alien pod stood open. Empty. Cliffhanger. End of part 1. Rourke ran through the halls with his soldiers. Where's the subject? He yelled. The camera showed nothing. But one hallway, deep underground, showed a strange distortion on screen. Like a shadow that wasn't there. Alex looked at the footage. That's not a shadow, he whispered. That's it. The camera feed went black. The last frame showed a soldier standing alone. Behind him, something was moving, but there was nothing there, only fear. The pod was empty. Dr. Alex Ray stood still, his breath fogging in the cold air of the underground lab. The security lights blinked red. Alarms echoed through the halls of the Arctic base. Colonel Rourke stared at the open pod with wide eyes. His voice came out as a whisper. Where is it? No one answered. The alien was gone. And no one saw it leave. The search began. Soldiers moved quickly through the base, searching every hallway, every room, every vent. The alien had no weapons, no armor, no tools. Yet it had disappeared without a trace. Alex watched the security footage over and over. In one video, a soldier walked past the pod just seconds before the power flickered. For a brief moment, the image glitched. The lights dimmed, and then a strange blur appeared near the soldier's head. The blur moved behind him and then vanished. What is that? Alex asked the tech officer. Could be a glitch, the man said. Or it's the alien, Alex finished. It's not just fast, it's invisible. Rourke's face turned pale. Put the base on lockdown. The first encounter 2 hours later, a soldier named Davis was found sitting in the hallway. His eyes were open, but he wasn't moving. Alex rushed. Over. Is he alive? The medic checked him. Yes, but he's not responding. Davis's lips were moving, very slowly, repeating one sentence over and over. It's inside the walls. It sees everything. It knows our names. They moved him to the medical room. But just an hour later, the cameras cut out. When the feed returned, Davis was gone. Only a black handprint remained on the bed. Strange marks in the lab. Alex examined the alien pod. The inside walls had changed. Strange symbols had appeared, glowing blue, like fireflies. He took photos and ran them through translation software. Some symbols matched ancient Earth languages, Sumerian, Mayan, even Egyptian. But others were unknown. One symbol repeated again and again. It looked like a spiral with a single line through the center. Alex had seen it before. In his dreams, he remembered the vision from the first contact. Cities burning, people screaming, and this exact symbol glowing in the sky. He whispered to himself, "This is not the first time they've come here." The autopsy, meanwhile, scientists were examining the alien's body, or at least what was left of it. A second body was found near the ice dig site. Not a soldier, something else. Human in shape, but wrong. Its skin was pale blue, its veins black, and its mouth open unnaturally wide. The autopsy report shocked everyone. There was no brain, no heart. And yet, the body had been moving just an hour before. This thing was hollow, the chief biologist said. Like a shell. Alex leaned in. A carrier, he said. It wasn't the alien, it was just a container. The parasitic truth. Alex sat in his room, staring at the footage from Davis's incident. He slowed the video down frame by frame. There. In one frame, a distortion hovered near Davis's head. A ripple in the air. Like heat waves, but sharper. He enhanced the image. Inside the ripple, a shape became clear. Small, long, snake-like. He quickly pulled out his notebook and started writing. Theory. The real alien is a parasite. It hides inside other beings, controls their minds, jumps from one host to another. That's why the alien body looked dead. Because it wasn't alive, the creature had already left it, and now it was looking for a new host, the ticking clock. Colonel Rourke ordered a full body scan of every person in the base. "We don't know who's infected," he said. "Anyone could be next," but the scans found nothing. No signs of infection. No parasites. The alien was hiding too well. Meanwhile, more soldiers began showing symptoms. Paranoia, nosebleeds, violent dreams, hearing voices. Alex believed the alien wasn't just infecting people, it was learning from them. Understanding human behavior, language, emotions. It was preparing. But for what? Contact. That night, Alex returned to the medical wing where the pod was kept. The glowing symbols had changed again. They now formed a line, a message. Alex traced the new pattern with his hand. Suddenly, the room became cold. His vision blurred. The lights dimmed. He wasn't alone. The alien voice returned inside his mind. Not words, emotions, pain, rage, loneliness, hunger. Then came a flash of images. A world covered in black clouds. Millions of strange creatures. Moving as one. A machine the size of a city. A planet exploding. And finally, Earth. Burning. Awakening. Alex woke up on the floor, gasping. The symbols were gone. He ran to Rourke. "They're not here to invade," he said. "They're here to consume." Rourke frowned. "Consume what?" Alex looked him dead in the eye. "Us." The failed escape. The next morning, a group of soldiers tried to flee the base in a helicopter. They didn't trust Rourke. They didn't trust anyone. But just as the chopper took off, the controls failed. The engine stopped mid-air. The pilot screamed. The helicopter crashed just outside the base. All were killed. Security footage showed something strange. A shadow, no. A shape wrapped around the tail of the helicopter before it fell. It had no form. Just smoke and darkness. "Is it killing anyone who tries to escape?" Alex asked. Rourke nodded slowly. "Looks like it." "We're trapped," Alex whispered. The message desperate. Alex hacked into the Division 9 deep satellite system. He sent a coded message into space. A warning. Non-human entity confirmed on Earth. Parasitic. In nature. Capable of telepathic communication and host takeover. Human containment possible, but unlikely. This is not the first encounter. Requesting global alert. He stared at the screen, hoping for a response. Nothing. But then, the satellite picked up something. A signal. Same pattern. Same source. Only now the message had changed. That wasn't hello. It was feeding begins. The final scene in the command center, the power flickered again. Soldiers raised their weapons. Something was coming. Through the walls. Through the lights. Through them. Alex shouted. It's not just one. There are many. But it was too late. One by one, lights went out. The last thing the camera recorded was Alex's face, lit by the glow of the screen. Behind him, a shadow moved. Tall, long, like a whisper in the air. And then darkness. The base was silent. No alarms. No lights. No voices. Only cold. Dr. Alex Ray walked slowly through the dark hallway of the underground Arctic facility. His breath was heavy, and his flashlight flickered in the blackness. He was alone. Or at least, he thought he was. Survivors an hour earlier, the power had gone out across the entire base. Cameras stopped, doors locked. Communications failed. Alex had hidden in the server room. He waited in the dark for almost 30 minutes. Then the emergency lights turned on. Faint, red, and flickering. Now he was searching for anyone still alive. As he turned a corner, he heard footsteps. He raised his flashlight and froze. It was Colonel Rourke. He looked tired. Blood covered his jacket. But he was alive, Dr. Ray. He said, his voice low. Alex nodded. You're okay? Barely. We need to find the others. They moved together through the base. Slowly, carefully. They found 3 more survivors. Dr. Karen Lowe, a biologist. Lieutenant Park, a communications expert. And a young engineer named Ellis. All of them had the same story. Lights went out, and something moved through the shadows. Something they couldn't see, but could feel. It wasn't walking, Park said, shaking. It was sliding, crawling, breathing. Alex looked at them. It's still here. It never left. Strange behavior. The 5 survivors locked themselves inside the weapons control room. It had its own backup generator. Ellis worked quickly to bring power to a few cameras. Only one hallway camera came online. The image was grainy, black and white. They watched in silence. Something moved across the frame. A blurry shape, crawling along the ceiling like smoke. It paused near a vent, and then slipped inside. Karen gasped. How many vents are in this base? Hundreds. Ellis whispered. The creature could be anywhere. They had no way to track it, no weapons to hurt it. And it had already taken more than half the base. But Alex had a theory. The theory, it's not just killing us, he said. It's studying us, Karen frowned. What do you mean? I saw the memories, Alex said. When I touched the pod, it showed me visions, pain, war, death. But why? Park asked. Alex looked at them all. Because it's learning. What scares us? It feeds on fear. Everyone went quiet. Maybe that's why it killed the lights, Rourke said. To make us afraid, Alex nodded. Fear makes it stronger. That's how it controls people. It doesn't need weapons. It just needs to break your mind. The host. As they rested, Ellis sat in the corner, quiet. Too quiet. He stared at the floor, not blinking. Sweat ran down his face. Karen noticed first. Ellis? She asked. No answer. Alex moved closer. Are you okay? Ellis suddenly turned. His eyes were wide. Too wide. It's beautiful, he whispered. What is? The voice. It sings too. M.E. Everyone backed away. Ellis, are you hearing something? Alex asked carefully. Ellis smiled. It's in me. Suddenly, he grabbed a metal rod and rushed at Park. Rourke tackled him to the ground. Ellis screamed. Not like a man, but like something not human. Then he collapsed dead. The parasite. revealed Alex, and Corinne examined Ellis's body. This time, they were ready. They used heat scanners and ultraviolet light. Inside Ellis's brain, they found black marks like veins, but not blood. Something had attached to his brainstem. A small worm-like creature. It was dead now, but it had controlled him like a puppet. Corinne looked at Alex. So, it jumps from person to person? Alex nodded. Yes, that's why it disappeared after it left the pod. It hides inside people, controls them, feeds on fear. And when it's done, it moves to the next. Rourke stepped back. Then we can't trust anyone. Paranoia now. The group was falling apart. Everyone watched each other closely. Was Corinne infected? Was Park? Was Alex? No one knew. The parasite left no visible signs until it took full control. By then, it was too late. They set rules. No one goes alone. No one touches anyone. No one sleeps. But fear grew. And that was exactly what it wanted. The Trapalix had an idea. A test. If the parasite used brainwaves to control its host, maybe they could disrupt it. He used old radio equipment to build a signal jammer, a small device that emitted low-frequency noise. They tested it on one hallway. After activating it, the cameras showed something, the blurry creature moving faster, like it was in pain. It's working, Corinne said. It doesn't like the sound, Alex smiled. We can trap it. They planned to lure the parasite into a sealed room, use the jammer to weaken it, and burn it using high-voltage wires. A simple plan, but the parasite wasn't stupid. It had been listening to the betrayal. As they prepared the trap, Park disappeared. Rourke swore he was just in the room. They searched every hall, every vent. Then they found him in the engine room, setting fire to their only generator. Park! Alex shouted. What are you doing? Park turned around. His eyes were black. I have seen the stars, he whispered. We were never alone. He dropped the flare. The engine room exploded. The base shook. Flames spread fast. They had lost their power. Again. And now they were running out of time. Escape plan smoke filled the hallways. Alex and the remaining survivors, Corinne and Rourke, escaped to the surface tunnels. The storm outside was still raging. Snow and wind howled. We can't survive out there, Corinne said. Alex looked at the emergency exit map. There's a backup station 2 kilometers south. If we make it there, we can send a message. Rourke nodded. We go now. They packed supplies, flashlights, the jammer, and wrapped themselves in thermal suits. Then they left the base behind them. The fire burned bright. Something moved in the flames, watching them go. The journey, the walk through the snowstorm was brutal. Visibility was low. Wind pushed against them. Their suits froze, but they kept moving. Halfway through, Corinne collapsed. Her foot was bleeding. We can't stop, Rourke said. Alex lifted her. They pushed forward. Every now and then, Alex saw shadows in the snow. Shapes that weren't there. Whispers in the wind. Keep going, he told himself. It's trying to scare you. It's feeding again. Finally, they saw the station. A small metal shelter buried under ice. They made it. The broadcast inside. Alex activated the signal tower. He sent a message to all satellites, all frequencies, all governments. This is Dr. Alex Ray. Arctic base is lost. Non-human entity confirmed. It uses fear. It hides inside humans. Do not trust anyone who acts strangely. Keep them isolated. This is not over. Repeat. This is not over. He hit send. Silence followed. Then coming signal. A reply. But it wasn't from Earth. The message was short. We see you. The final shot. Corinne stood at the door, watching the snow. Rourke checked the jammer. It was blinking. Something's here, he said. Alex picked up his flashlight. In the snow outside, a figure stood. Tall, thin, human-like, but wrong. Its eyes were glowing. Is that Park? Karen whispered. The figure stepped closer, and behind it, more shapes appeared. 10, 20, hundreds. All walking slowly, all infected. Alex raised the jammer. We fight here. Rourke loaded his gun. Karen closed the door. The final scene. 3 humans. One tiny station. A storm outside, and something coming. The cold Arctic wind howled outside the small metal shelter. Inside, Dr. Alex Ray, Colonel Rourke, and Dr. Karen Lowe prepared for what was next. The shadows outside had multiplied. The infected were coming, but this was only the beginning. Far away, beyond ice and mountains, a city slept. Unaware. The city sleeps. New York City was alive. Bright lights, busy streets, cars honking, people laughing. The world went on. But beneath the surface, something dark stirred. At the top of a skyscraper, a man named James Cole worked late. He was a security analyst for a government agency monitoring global threats. His computer screen flashed red. Alert. A message appeared. Unknown signal detected. Arctic base lost. Non-human entity confirmed. James frowned. Another false alarm? He muttered. But the screen changed. A new message appeared. We see you. Panic in the agency. James quickly called his boss, Director Morgan. Sir, we have a situation. An unknown entity in the Arctic has destroyed the base. The signal says, we see you. Morgan looked grave. Put together a team. We're sending people to investigate and warn the city. But no one knew how fast the enemy could move. Shadows move as night fell. Strange reports began. People on the streets said they saw shadows moving against the light. Figures standing too still. Faces that disappeared when looked at directly. James met with his team in a secure room. We don't know what we're dealing with, he said. But we have to act fast. Suddenly, a young agent burst in. There's been a break-in at the city's power plant. All security systems are down. Blackout. Within minutes, the city plunged into darkness. The blackout was total. No lights, no cameras, no alarms. The shadows took advantage. On the dark streets, people screamed. Cars stopped. Phones lost signal. Alex and his small team knew this was the parasite's work. It wasn't just a creature. It was a weapon. New York, under siege. Alex had managed to contact James using an emergency channel. We need help, Alex said. James replied, we're sending a unit now. But the city is falling apart. Alex looked out the window of the shelter. The parasite spreads through fear and darkness, he said. It feeds on panic. Karen shivered. We need to stop the blackout. The hunt begins. James led a group of soldiers and scientists into the city streets. They carried flashlights, weapons, and special sensors designed to detect the parasite. As they moved through the dark alleys, shapes flickered near them, almost invisible. Suddenly, a scream. A woman ran past, her eyes wide with terror. Behind her, a shadow lunged. James fired. The creature vanished into smoke. We have to find its source, James ordered. The source following the sensors. The team arrived at the subway tunnels. Deep underground, the parasite had made a nest. Walls were covered with the glowing blue symbols Alex had seen in the Arctic. James looked at the symbols. Like a warning or a map, he said. They moved forward carefully. The dark chamber at the end of the tunnel, a huge chamber, appeared. It was filled with black mist. The air was cold and heavy. In the center, a pulsating mass of shadow floated. It whispered words no one could understand. Karen stepped closer, feeling the fear rise inside her. Alex raised the jammer. The mass writhed, screaming in pain. Suddenly, the shadow exploded into hundreds of small creatures. Battle in the darkness. Team fought the creatures with light and sound. Flashes from flashlights made the creatures recoil. High-pitched noise from the jammer confused them, but there were too many. James shouted, "Fall back! Fall back!" The creatures chased them through the tunnels. One by one, the soldiers were taken. Only Alex, James, and Karen escaped to the surface. A city in fear outside. The city was in chaos. People ran, shouted, and cried. The parasite had turned New York into a nightmare. Alex looked at the rising sun. "We can't run," he said. "We have to fight." James nodded. "We need a plan." The final hope back in the shelter. Alex studied the alien symbols. He realized the parasite was part of a larger hive mind. It was a scout for an invasion. "We have to stop it now," Alex said. Karen and James agreed. They prepared their weapons and waited. The warning suddenly. The radios crackled. A voice spoke, deep, cold, and alien. "Humans are weak. Fear feeds us. Surrender or be consumed." Alex stared at the radio. "We will fight," he said. The voice laughed. "Then the feeding begins." The world was changing. In just 48 hours, 3 major cities had gone dark. Power grids collapsed. Communication broke. Panic spread faster than news. What started in the Arctic was now a global threat. The parasite had learned. It had adapted. And now it was everywhere. The last safe zone. Dr. Alex Ray, Colonel Rourke, and Dr. Karen Lowe stood inside a temporary command center, a hidden bunker deep under Washington, D.C. This place had been silent for years. Built during the Cold War. Now it had become their last chance. Commander James Cole had joined them, bringing survivors and a few military units from New York. He had seen the parasite up close. He knew what it could do. "They're not just taking people," James said. "They're replacing them." Karen leaned over. The holographic map. Red dots blinked, representing lost cities: New York, London, Seoul, Moscow. "We still don't know how it spreads," she whispered. Alex pointed at the glowing symbol on the map, an alien spiral. "We do. It's not physical. It's mental. It travels through fear, through thought. It infects by broadcasting itself, like a virus inside our minds." James asked. Alex nodded. "And we have one weapon left." The counter signal inside the bunker. Engineers and scientists worked day and night. Their goal: build a satellite to broadcast a new signal, a gamma counter frequency that could disrupt the parasite's communication across the globe. Karen had named it Project Echo. "If this works," she said, "we can break the parasite's link with its hosts, free the infected, stop the spread." James crossed his arms. "And if it doesn't?" Rourke answered without emotion. "Then humanity falls. Time is running out." The satellite was almost ready. It would launch from an underground silo in Texas. But the parasite knew. It had learned how to follow radio signals. It had learned how to listen. One of the bunker's towers picked up a strange frequency, like a heartbeat inside a storm. Then static. And a whisper through the speakers: "You cannot silence us." Seconds later, the lights flickered. Doors slammed shut. One of the scientists started screaming. Karen rushed to help, but the man's eyes were already turning black. He was infected. The parasite had found them. "Breakout. Seal the lab." James yelled. 2 soldiers grabbed the scientist and dragged him into a containment room. But he was strong, far too strong for a human. He twisted his arms unnaturally and lunged at the glass. It cracked. "Get out!" Rourke shouted. "Get everyone out!" The team evacuated the bunker wing just as alarms blared. The infected scientist smashed through the glass, roaring like a wild animal. But then, something odd happened. He stopped. Frozen in place, eyes wide, mouth open, shaking. Then he collapsed. Double quotes. "What happened?" Karen asked. Alex looked at the screen, his mind disconnected. Something cut the link. They realized something. The parasite still needs its network. If they could jam that signal globally, they could starve it. But now. The launch site was their only hope. Journey to the launch site. The team prepared to leave. Alex, Karen, James, Rourke, and a small unit of soldiers boarded a military jet. They would fly low, avoid satellite detection, and reach Texas in 6 hours. But during the flight, strange things began. First, the radio started whispering again. Then, one of the soldiers began muttering in his sleep. Alex stared at the man. "He's dreaming." "Is that ... normal?" James asked. "No," Alex whispered. "They're using his fear. They're learning from it." Rourke didn't wait. He stood up and tied the soldier's hands. No risks. No more surprises. Into the dust Texas was. No longer Texas. What had once been wide-open plains and sunlit deserts was now silent, gray and broken. The sky looked wrong, like it was bleeding light. Strange symbols had been burned into the earth from space. Cities nearby had collapsed. Roads were full of abandoned cars. The launch silo stood in the center of it all. Surprisingly, it was still intact. But that was the problem. Why was it untouched? "It's a trap," Rourke said. Alex agreed. "They're waiting." Still, they had no choice. The satellite was inside . So were the transmitters. The uplink station, and their final hope. The heart of the hive. They entered the silo. Dust fell from the ceiling. Machinery groaned. The launch pad lights flickered weakly. Alex moved first, holding the jammer. Corinne followed with her laptop. James and Rourke checked the corners. As they reached the control room, something moved. A man stood in the dark, facing the glass. He wore a long coat, torn and burnt. His face was hidden. "Sir?" James called out. The man didn't move. Corinne took a step forward. He turned slowly. It was Ellis, the young engineer who had died back at the Arctic base. "But that was impossible. You didn't make it," Alex said. Ellis smiled. "No, but I learned. I became more." His eyes flickered with black static. "Humans are fragile, but you adapt quickly. That's why you interest us." "We're not interested in your offers," Rourke said, raising his weapon. Ellis, or whatever was inside him, just laughed. "You cannot kill what does not live, but you can listen." Suddenly, Alex screamed. He dropped to his knees, grabbing his head. "Get him out!" Corinne shouted. James dragged Alex back while Rourke opened fire. Bullets tore through Ellis, but he didn't bleed. He vanished like smoke. The countdown. Karen reached the control console. "The satellite is ready, but can we launch it?" James asked. Alex stood slowly, his face pale. "Yes, but only from inside the tower. Someone has to stay here, to push the final command." Corinne looked at him. "You mean stay behind?" Alex nodded. "The system has to be triggered manually after the doors are sealed. It's the only way. The parasite can't shut it down mid-launch." "I'll do it," Rourke said instantly. "No," James replied. "You're the best soldier we need you for what comes next." Silence. Corinne looked at Alex. "Then it has to be you." He nodded. "I started this," he said softly. "Let me finish it." One last broadcast. The team set the timers. The rocket stood tall on the launch pad, ready. Alex stood in the tower, alone. Through the window, he saw the infected approaching from the far hills, hundreds of them, walking slowly. Calmly, they weren't running. They knew. Alex activated the microphone. "This is Dr. Alex Ray," he said into the broadcast. "If you're hearing this, the parasite is real. It spreads through fear, through thought. It replaces people from the inside. It is ancient, intelligent, and it is here." He looked at the countdown. 10. 9. You must resist it. Fight it with your will, with your mind, with your light. 6. 5. Double. Do not listen to the voices. Do not believe the shadows. And whatever happens, do not stop the signal. 3. 2. Lift off. The satellite launched into the red sky. A pillar of flame and dust shook the earth. The infected screamed. Some clutched their heads, others fell. Some simply vanished into ash. In the distance, the sky cleared, just a little. The parasite's grip began to loosen. James watched from the escape vehicle. Did it work? Karen looked at her tablet. The signal was active. It's working. Rourke looked back at the silo, but Alex was gone. The aftermath 2 days later. The signal reached every country. People began to wake from their infection. Some remembered nothing. Others remembered everything. Governments called it the mind plague. But survivors knew the truth, that it was never just in the mind, that it was something real. Something old. Something still waiting in the dark parts of the universe. A final message before his death. Alex had left one last log entry. Karen opened it weeks later. If this reaches anyone out there, just know this. We are not the top of the food chain. We are not alone, but we are not weak. We are human, and we fight back. 2 weeks had passed since the satellite launched into the sky. Dr. Alex Ray was gone, but his final broadcast had changed everything. The parasite's grip had weakened. People were waking up. Cities were fighting back. But while Earth celebrated its small victory, something deep in space had heard the signal, and it was not human. A signal reaches the stars in the cold vacuum beyond the moon. A massive alien structure floated silently. It had been sleeping for thousands of years. Dead, quiet, cold. But then, a pulse reached it, a vibration from Earth. Alex Ray's signal. Inside the alien vessel, strange lights flickered on. Symbols began to glow on the walls. Tubes filled with black mist hissed open. A new signal was born. It was a return. Transmission. Not from the parasite. But from its masters. Back on Earth. James Cole stood on the rooftop of the temporary command base in Washington, D.C. The sky looked clearer now. The air felt less heavy. For the first time in weeks, people were breathing again. He missed Alex. Dr. Karen Lowe joined him, holding a tablet. You need to see this, she said. On the screen was a message. Unknown transmission detected source. Lunar orbit. James read the coordinates. It's coming from behind the moon. Something responded, Karen whispered. And it's not the parasite. James felt a chill down his spine. What if we just woke something worse? The moon mission. The UN called for an emergency meeting. Every nation now knew the truth. Earth was not alone, and something in space had just spoken back. A joint space mission was approved. Karen was chosen to lead the science team. Rourke was called out of retirement to command the security force. A dozen astronauts and scientists boarded the ISS Redemption, a special ship designed for deep space defense. Their goal: travel to the dark side of the moon and locate the return signal. Karen looked at Earth from the window of the spaceship. So small, she whispered. Rourke answered, let's make sure it stays safe. The lunar approach as the ISS Redemption neared the moon. Strange things began to happen. The ship's lights flickered. Tools floated on their own. One astronaut claimed he heard whispering in his suit. Another said he saw Alex Ray's reflection in the glass. Karen ran a brain scan on the crew. Their fear levels were rising. It's not infection, she said. It's something else, like ... psychic static. They're watching, Rourke said simply. Testing us. The crew prepared for descent. The alien structure was located in a crater, the size of Manhattan. First contact, the lander touched down on silent gray dust. Karen, Rourke, and 2 others stepped outside in suits. There it was, a massive black shape, half buried in the moon's surface, taller than a skyscraper. It hummed like a living heart. Strange symbols pulsed across its walls, similar to the ones Alex had studied in the Arctic. Karen activated her scanner. No radiation, no heat, but it's alive. The entrance opened on its own. Rourke raised his weapon. Stay close. They stepped inside. The alien mind. The walls inside the structure pulsed with a soft blue light. No gravity. No sound. Just strange patterns flowing like rivers. Karen placed her hand on one. Suddenly, her mind was flooded with visions, stars being eaten by black mist, civilizations falling, a shadow spreading across galaxies. Then a voice echoed in her thoughts. "You have interfered." Karen gasped and fell to her knees. Rourke helped her up. "What happened?" "They're not just parasites," she said. "They're messengers. Tools, weapons created by something bigger. Something ancient. The message deeper inside. They found it. A central core glowing bright purple. Karen connected her device. A message played in their language, perfect English, but cold and flat. "You are not the first. You will not be the last. This signal marks resistance. Resistance marks war. We are coming." The crew stood in silence. Karen looked at the others. This wasn't just a return signal. It was a warning. "No," Rourke said. "It was a declaration. Countdown begins back on Earth." Telescopes picked up strange movements in deep space. Stars blinking out. Shadows shifting. A massive fleet, unknown in design, was on the move. They were coming. James Cole addressed the Global Council. "We must unite. We can't wait for them to land. We must prepare Earth for war." A scientist stood up. "We don't even know what they are." James looked at the image on screen. The alien ship, the parasite, the return signal. "They're not gods. They're not demons. They're just old, and we're the first to say no." A sudden shift back on the moon. Inside the alien structure, Karen noticed something strange. One of the walls had changed. It now showed a human figure, Alex Ray. But this Alex was different. He was smiling, not kindly. "I think they took his mind," she whispered. Suddenly, the core turned red. Alarms blared. Rourke shouted, "We've been tricked." The ship began shaking. "They're trying to collapse the structure. Bury the evidence." They ran. Karen grabbed the data core. They escaped just as the moon crater exploded, sending dust and debris into orbit. One last hope, the ISS Redemption, returned to Earth. With only partial data. Karen studied the files. "They left a weakness," she said. "Maybe by mistake, or maybe Alex left it behind." It was a pattern like the symbols they'd seen before, but more detailed. She believed it was the parasite's source code, the way they think, link, and act. "If we can use this," she said, "we might create a virus against them." "A true digital weapon," James replied. "Then we don't wait, we build it. Earth's first real defense." In the shadows high in Earth's orbit, one last satellite spun silently. It wasn't human. It wasn't natural. It was watching. And recording. A whisper floated through deep space. "Phase 1 complete. Humanity will resist. Begin Phase 2. The world was awake now. No more secrets. No more doubts. The return signal from the moon had confirmed one thing. The real enemy had heard humanity's voice, and it was coming, not with peace, but with purpose. A new age of unity Earth had never seen. True global unity before. But fear had a strange power. For the first time in human history, borders became less important. Languages no longer divided. Flags were lowered, and one message echoed across all nations: survive together, or fall alone. The World Defense Initiative was formed, a united force of scientists, soldiers, engineers, and strategists from every major country. Its headquarters, the Volta, a high-tech underground base hidden under the Nevada desert. Commander James Cole, now the face of Earth's resistance, stood at its command center. Behind him, giant screens showed global activity. Weapons being moved, satellites launched, air bases upgraded. But deep inside the vault, something even more powerful was being created, the weapon DR. Karen Lowe stepped into Lab 13, a restricted zone with biometric locks, AI guards, and full radiation shielding. Inside was Project Horizon. On the table, a black cube glowing with alien symbols. It was the parasite code extracted from the moon. Base before it exploded. It wasn't just data. It was alive in some strange way. Karen placed her hand on a console. The code responded, pulsing blue and gold. "I think it wants to connect," she whispered. The AI assistant named Iris spoke. Calmly. "Dr. Lowe, are you sure? This integration could be irreversible." "We don't have time for fear," she replied. "We need to fight fire with fire." So they began Project Genesis. The plan was dangerous. Take human DNA and combine it with fragments of parasite logic, creating a hybrid soldier that could understand the enemy, think like them, and resist their mental link. This soldier wouldn't be fully human, but it would be Earth's best hope. James was unsure at first. "This sounds like playing with poison," he warned. Karen agreed. "It is, but we're out of clean tools." After 2 weeks of tests, failures, and near catastrophes, it worked. Subject 01 was born, a male hybrid, aged 25, grown in just 72 hours. His body was human, but faster, stronger, and immune to psychic infection. His brain carried signals the parasites used, but didn't follow their commands. He opened his eyes and spoke. "I am awake. Where is the war?" They named him Silas, learning to be. Human Silas was trained fast. He could learn languages in hours. He could memorize combat drills in minutes. But he had one weakness. He had no emotion. No fear, no guilt, no sadness, no empathy. Karen watched him in silence one day as he stared at a dying tree in the garden dome. "Do you feel anything when you look at that?" she asked. "No," Silas said. "Should I?" "You're human," she replied. "Part of you should feel something." "I was not built to feel," he said. "I was built to end the enemy." Karen walked away, unsure if they had made a hero ... or a monster. Strange visions meanwhile. Soldiers across the world began reporting nightmares again. Some saw black stars falling from the sky. Others heard whispers in languages they didn't speak. And some saw Alex Ray standing in fire saying the same words. Don't trust the voice inside the code. Karen reviewed the footage of Subject 01 again. There was something odd in his eyes, like the parasite code wasn't fully dormant. She brought this up to James. He could be compromised. James shook his head. Or he could be the one thing they fear. Phase 2 begins. Satellites picked up motion beyond Neptune. Ships. Thousands of them. Coming fast. No communication. No demands. Just movement. Earth had days, maybe a week, before the first wave reached orbit. The vault entered lockdown. Anti-air batteries were activated worldwide. Cities began evacuation drills. Underground shelters were built, and the Genesis protocol was activated. Silas would lead the first strike, using his link to access the enemy's systems from inside. Would be sent into space with a small team, on a stealth cruiser called the Ashlight. Mission: board the lead alien vessel and plant a data virus that would confuse their network. It was risky. It was suicidal. But it was Earth's best chance. The trail one night before launch. Alarms blared inside the vault. Karen rushed to the lab. The parasite cube was missing. Security footage showed someone in a vault officer uniform entering the lab and disabling Iris. It was a man named Dr. Elijah Grant, a former AI expert from Britain. James watched the replay. He's been quiet for weeks. Kept saying the parasite was a higher order of intelligence. I should have seen it. Karen was pale. If he activates the cube outside protection zones, it could send another signal, a deeper one. Like a homing beacon, James whispered. Chase through the storm. Grant had escaped in a desert rover, heading toward an old radio tower in Arizona. Karen, Rourke, and Silas pursued him in a combat chopper. Storm clouds rolled across the desert. As they landed near the tower. Inside, Grant stood with the cube, holding it like a sacred relic. You don't understand, he shouted as they entered. They offered peace, No more war. No more pain, just order. You're infected, Rook growled, raising his gun. I'm awakened, Grant said. He placed the cube in the tower's transmitter slot. Karen ran. Forward, don't. It was too late. The tower lit up, glowing red. A pulse went out. Silas screamed. He fell to his knees. Clutching his head, his voice changed, like static layered on metal. Karen reached for him. Silas, fight it. The choice inside his mind. Silas stood in a black void. Voices called to him. Come home. You are ours. Forget the humans. They fear you. We made you. But then another voice. Faint. Alex Ray. You are what you choose to be. Silas opened his eyes. The cube shattered. Grant screamed and collapsed. Tower shorted out. Karen knelt beside Silas. Are you okay? He nodded slowly. I saw everything. What did they say? They're not coming to invade, he said. They're coming to collect. Return to the vault. Back at the vault, the team prepared the ashlight for launch. Silas, now stable, was ready. He would carry the virus. Karen placed a hand on his shoulder. I still don't know if you're one of us, she said. Silas looked at her. I don't know either, but I'll protect you anyway. As the countdown began, James looked to the stars. The first alien ships were entering. Mars orbit. Phase 2 had begun, but so had humanity's answer. In the dark space between Mars and Earth, the ashlight floated silently. Inside, 5 soldiers sat with weapons ready. At the center, staring out the window at the approaching alien fleet. Was Silas. Human, parasite, weapon, hope. He had been created to destroy the enemy, but deep inside him, something else had awakened. Something ancient. And very afraid. The enemy revealed the alien fleet was unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Massive ships shaped like bones. Black as oil, moving without sound or heat. No lights. No signals, only silence. Each ship carried millions of parasite spores, waiting to fall on Earth, like rain. But at the center of the fleet. Floated a ship larger than a city. The Hive Core. Silas whispered, that's where they control everything. Karen's voice came through the ashlights. Comes from Earth. We only get one shot. Once you enter, we'll lose contact. I understand, Silas replied. James Cole spoke next. Good luck, son. Bring back our future. The infiltration. The ashlight stealth tech worked perfectly. No sensors detected them. No defense systems activated. As the ship entered the Hive Core's shadow, Silas stood up. The others handed him the virus drive shaped like a small glass cube, glowing faint blue. Once it's in their system, one soldier said, they'll turn on each other. No communication, no control. Silas nodded. He placed the cube inside his chest cavity. And then he jumped. No parachute. No fear. Just mission. Inside the hive he landed in complete darkness. No floor. No sky. Just a strange surface like metal mixed with flesh. It pulsed beneath his feet, as if breathing. Lights flickered on alien symbols all around him. He wasn't alone. Hundreds of parasite drones crawled along the walls. Ignoring him, he walked slowly deeper into the ship. And then a voice spoke. You should not exist. Silas looked up. A tall figure stood before him, 8 feet tall, cloaked in shadows. Its face was smooth. No eyes, no mouth. But Silas could hear its voice inside his mind. The truth. You are a mistake, the alien said. A broken mirror. I'm your end, Silas replied. The alien walked around him slowly. We built the parasite to wipe resistance. It spreads through fear, through weakness. But you are something new. I'm human. You are more, it said. That is what terrifies us. What do you mean? The alien paused. And then revealed the truth. The shocking revelation. You were not the first humans. It said, we made your kind. Long ago, on another world. You were our experiment, to create thinking tools, weapons with will. But you escaped. Fled across the stars, rebuilt yourselves on a small blue world, Earth. Silas felt cold. We're not your creation, he said. The alien stepped closer. You are our mistake. The parasite was built to erase that mistake. And now you've learned to fight back. But it is too late. Silas stared into its empty face. No, it's just in time. He pulled the virus cube from his chest. The alien's body rippled. You won't make it out alive. I don't need to, Silas said, and he threw the cube into the core. Chaos begins. The ship screamed, not with sound but with energy. Lights burst. Walls cracked. Parasite drones started shaking, screaming, turning on each other. The virus was working. Silas dropped to his knees. His head burned. He saw flashes of Earth. Karen, Alex Ray's face. The Arctic base. And then silence. Earth reacts back. At the vault, screens went black. The feed from the ashlight vanished. Karen stood frozen. Did he do it? She whispered. James watched the sky. One by one, the alien ships began to drift off course. Some collided. Some exploded. Some simply shut down, lifeless in space. Earth's defense teams cheered, but Karen did not. He's still out there. She sighed, alone. The last signal 2 days later, a strange signal was picked up by the Hubble array. Very faint. Nearly unreadable. It was a voice. Silas, his tone was calm, slower than usual. I made it. The virus worked. Most of them are dead. The rest. Scared. But I saw something else. Deeper. Farther. The parasites were just tools. There's something beyond them. Something worse. Watching, waiting. But they saw me, and they saw Earth. And now they fear us. Silas paused. I don't know how long I'll survive, but I know one thing. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is not alone. Humanity. Fights. Tell Karen I understand now. Tell Earth to prepare. The signal ended. Silence followed. Forever. 1 year later, Earth changed. Nations remained united. Project Genesis continued, not for war, but for knowledge. Karen became Director of Defense Research. James retired, his mission complete. The parasite threat was gone. But in deep space, something else moved. Not hostile. Not friendly. Just watching. The memorial in the center of New Earth City. A statue stood. A figure of metal and bone. Not fully human. Not fully alien. Beneath it, a plaque. Silas, born of war. Proof of hope. Humanity's shield. Karen stood in front of it one evening. She placed a small cube of flowers at its base. I hope you found peace, she whispered. And walked away. Final shot. Far in the stars, a new world was forming. Lights blinked in patterns never seen before. And from its center, a small voice whispered, Mockery turns to fear. Fear turns to war. But war. Leads to freedom. We are human. And we are coming. The end.